2022 at 7:30 p.m. at a regularly scheduled council meeting and public hearing. Public officials with us in attendance: City Clerk Jennifer Stewart, Deputy City Clerk and HR Administrator Miranda Gross, Assistant City Manager Scott Schrader, Fire Chief James Coomer, Police Chief Paul Shakinis, DPW Superintendent Dan Ladd, and Deputy Chief of Police Heather Kolke. Madam Mayor, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Pro Tem Lublin will now give the invocation.
Dear God, we ask you to preside over this meeting tonight. Help us to act as a unified team to open our hearts and make fair and just decisions that improve our community. Also, may we come together as a whole with the courage and strength to show kindness and compassion as we collectively work towards the betterment of humanity. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Would the clerk please call roll?
Okay. Ackley?
Here.
Ambrose?
Here.
Fernandez?
Here.
Locke?
Here.
Lublin?
Here.
Osnick?
Here.
Woods?
Here, Walled Lake, Michigan.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a quorum. We will now have a public hearing regarding the 23-24 budget appropriations. Is there anybody in the audience at this time that would like to address anything about the upcoming budget?
For audience participation, for those that are attending via virtual means, electronic means, you may press star 9 on your telephone keypad. That signals the raise hand feature. Again, that's star 9 on your telephone keypad. There are no audience members electronically.
Thank you.
to speak.
There being no public participation in this, we will close the public part of the hearing.
The mayor, let me add to that. It comes as no surprise. People are pretty satisfied with what we've been doing in the last 12 years. So there's no increase proposed for the city's millage in this year's budget. Indeed, the rollback exists because of Hadley. What we're going to do is you have your hard copy in front of you. I think for the council members here, we have your hard copy here, but we're going to go over the resolution that passes the budget, and Mr. Schrader is going to explain some details for the public, for those who may not have come to all of the city manager's budget sessions and stuff like that. So you have a hard copy, and if I can ask Mr. Schrader to go over the basic details, not the whole book. They got a book. They probably looked at all of this enough through the years. So if Mr. Schrader can give us an update on, use the resolution. And
Hannah, could you put that up?
Yeah. Give me one moment.
So as Ms. Jakeway puts up the resolution that has been created in relation to this budget, I want to point out that the document that you have is designed to some degree, return to normalcy. The commitment to public and community events has been reestablished, if you would, not only through the actions of the staff, but also by the City Council as presented in this budget. The total appropriations for the upcoming fiscal year is proposed at a little over $12.3 million. 11.1 is for city operations, and a little over 1.1 is for the Downtown Development Authority and the library. Sorry, can't reach. The resolution that you have before you outlines the general government portion of the budget and the categorical spending for each of the categories that the general fund contains. As an example, the legislative function is $5,750, city administration a little under $600,000, public safety at $3.4 million, public services at $1.78 million, and a capital outlay of $234,000. It has the effect of creating a millage, as the manager mentioned, rolling back to a little over 14.03 mills for the general operating and 3.73 for public safety. It generates an estimated tax of a little less than $3.9 million. As the manager mentioned, we had 3 budget sessions that outlined and detailed each of the funds, the financial condition of the city with regards to fund balances. It outlined the capital projects that the council has been very diligent in overseeing and directing. And it outlined the general overview of spending by department. Some of the significant changes that bear mentioning. As I mentioned, there was an increase in the tax revenue that's being generated from the millage. The marijuana tax has increased. It's actually doubled from the prior year. State sales tax is up approximately $70,000. So that generally is the significant changes in revenue. The expenses by department generally are the same. There's not a lot of significant changes. One thing that has been programmed in these departmental budgets as a general direction from the council is trying to focus on continuing the capital projects that have been identified as a need in the city. So there are contingencies and some capital outlay in these budgets. You heard during the budget sessions that there are some equipment requests from departments. They have been programmed in here, namely a pickup truck for the fire department and some small equipment from DPW. One of the significant expenses that bear mentioning is the pension liability catch-up. There's approximately $1.2 million in here to catch up on the pension. As you're all aware, we have an approximate $12 million liability sitting out there. So we have been budgeting for that liability. That is slightly increased from the year before. But one of the things that is offsetting that is, as you're aware, our debt service is going to be reducing. In fact, it went down in half to a little over $100,000 for the upcoming year. And this is the last year, this upcoming year will be the last year that any debt is due and payable. After that, there will be no debt accumulated or liability for the city. As I made mention, one of the designs of this budget is to get back to normal. The police department and the fire department had some reductions in hours as it related to part-time. Those have been restored to a large degree. There is provisions in this upcoming budget to continue to replace the fleet in the police department. Right now, there are 2 vehicles that are budgeted. Whether or not we can get them is a whole nother issue, but at least the funds have been allocated to do that. As it relates to the road, major road and local road programs, there are slight increases in both the Act 51 funds for major and local roads. There are placeholders in here for capital construction for roads, albeit not in anywhere near the extent that we have in the past, but there is approximately $240,000 set aside for local roads at the council's discretion. The library fund, there's really no significant changes in there, in their budget. There was a slight increase in the overall levy, taxes that are being levied. The millage stays the same, of course. That increase is generally being appropriated for increases in staff levels and the increases in the books and research materials that are going to be purchased in the upcoming year. There is a new fund in the budget document that you have and in the resolution, and it's for the ARPA funding. As you're all aware, the ARPA stands for the American Rescue Program. We, the city, are receiving a little over $740,000 for use to restore or replace lost revenue that the city incurred during the pandemic. So there is a fund that has been established to control and report on the expenses that are designed for that program. There is $373,000 in change that has been identified as an appropriation for ARPA. Some salary and personnel expenses, but a majority of that is capital outlay. The Downtown Development Fund, there is, again, a slight increase in the amount of tax revenue that is being generated from the millage. There is also an approximately a little less than $300,000 capital outlay that has been identified to be available for the Downtown Development Board to determine with the council's with the council's support, programs or capital projects that they may want to engage in the upcoming year. One thing that needs to be mentioned is the transportation fund. The transportation program, if you would, is a little bit in flux right now as it relates to future funding. If you remember during the presentations, as well as just the historic nature of the program, there was a millage that had been imposed that the residents of the city were paying. That money was being returned to us through Oakland County and through SMART. We then took those funds and gave them to the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, who was operating the shuttle services that we all are familiar with. That millage has expired, and as of today, it still has not been renewed. The county is looking at various options, funding options for the continuation of the SMART program, so that's a little bit in flux. That is a significant amount of money for the city. $133,000 we have been allocating to SMART and WODA for that service. So it will bear paying attention to as to what the county intends to do to continue those funds and that service for the residents of the community. The refuse fund, there is an increase in the amount of fees that are being generated. There's a slight increase in the refuse fee for the residents, and it is formulary based upon the service that is being provided to us. It is not a significant amount of increase in the fee, but there is a slight increase in the fee. The total fund appropriations for the refuse fund is a little over $370,000. The water and sewer, and you'll see a companion resolution on your agenda tonight. The water and sewer fund, there are increases being proposed in both the water fee and the sewer fee. We were able to absorb most of the increase that was being imposed upon us by the water authority. Basically because of the amount of efficiencies that were gained by us utilizing the authority as opposed to continuing to provide water and sewer services directly by our staff. So there are increases, and there is a change in the formulary for water as it relates to the capital component, with the authority being, or managing the capital portions of the water service. It has been determined that we no longer need to impose such a large proportion of the fee towards capital. So that fee is the capital component is actually being reduced, while the operating component of the fee is being increased. So we were able to absorb some of the increase in the operating increase because of the cost of water by reducing the capital component. And the last fund is the Water Capital Fund. As I mentioned, because the change of the methodology in which the capital component is being derived, the fund itself is, the capital funding component is reduced to $330,000. One thing I do want to mention, when you compare this resolution to last year's resolution, there is a change in the method in which we are accounting for the Oakland County management of the water and sewer systems. So last year, the water and sewer fund amount was a little over $500,000. This resolution that's before you shows the entire amount of the operating costs, including the price of water and the contract with the county. While they're managing it, it's still our operating expenses, and it's still our operating revenue. So the water and sewer fund amount is $2.5 million. That shows the actual cost of the service, as opposed to just the $500,000 that was being returned to us from the county to cover our debt service and some of our administrative and personnel costs. So, as I said, the resolution before you outlines each of the funds and the general operating appropriations that are being requested as part of the document that you have before you. I mentioned that the general fund has a total appropriation of $6 million, a little over $6 million, and that the levy that is necessary for that is 14.0385 mils for the general operating and 3.7349 mils for public safety.
Ms. Jakeway, did you hand out the hard copies?
Let me do that.
It's hard to see that up there. So for those here, hand out the hard copies of the Appropriation Act.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very difficult to read up there. So.
And as she's handing that out, I'll just wrap this up real quick. The drug forfeiture fund appropriation that's being requested is $100,000. All of that is generated by the activities and collaboration with the Drug Enforcement Task Force. The Major Streets Program and Fund asks for an appropriation of $491,000 and change. There is no impact on the levy with regards to that. All of that is generated through Public Act 51. Local Streets appropriation is $497,000. Again, zero impact on the millage rate. All funds being generated from Public Act 51. The Debt Service Fund, as I mentioned, this will be the last year you'll see that. We're asking for $110,000. which would be transferred from the local roads program. The Transportation Fund is asking for an appropriation of $22,857, zero impact on the mill and the tax rate because of the SMART program, and again, this one's going to bear watching dependent upon how the county intends on funding this program in the future. The Water and Sewer Fund, as I mentioned, $2.57 million, no impact on the tax rate as it's generated by user fees. Water Capital Fund is generated at $2,020. Really, it's just a record-keeping accounting issue. The county is now responsible for the capital component of water. Refuse, $393,572 appropriation is being requested. Again, funded by user fees, not part of the tax levy. Library Fund, $414,500 appropriation request. Has a levy of 1.5678 mils, and it is on real and personal property taxable value. It's estimated to collect a tax of $379,000. The Downtown Development Fund has a appropriation request of $761,000. That is being generated from a special tax arrangement, so it is not part of the levy itself. The ARPA grant fund, as I mentioned, is the American Rescue Plan. There's $373,000 of an appropriation being requested. It is a completely federal grant with no match. So the total appropriation request, and as presented in this budget document, is $12.311 million, which has a total levy of 19.3412 mils, which incorporates all of the levies that are levied against real property and personal property tax. With that, Mr. Manager, I'm all set.
Mayor, we can get into the regular meeting. I believe you have that resolution, which you'll act on at some point. We've scheduled the final date for approval of the budget for June 21st. We've met all the legal requirements. You can pass it tonight if you choose. That's happened before on several occasions, so if you decide to do that. We haven't had any pushback. The key for this body to know is, or to be able to tell your constituents is, we're not raising your millage rate. In fact, because of Headley, it's going down. That doesn't mean they pay less in tax dollars, but in terms of millage, this council is not invoking, or I'm not proposing an increase for that kind of thing. And there's a whole lot of work to be done even after we pass the budget, whether we pass it tonight or we pass it in June. We're going to deal with the ARPA funds very specifically in different meetings, and I'll have individual meetings with each council member, Councilmember Woods, Councilmember Ambrose, Fernandez, Lublin, Locke, Osnick, and of course the mayor. So we've got that all to do in the future. We've got a whole lot of capital. We're sticking with that. We believe that we're going to get a lot done in the next few months, and once we blink and that's all done, now you get a fresh look at what we need to do next. Tonight we'll be doing a report on a couple of things, and in that couple of things will be reports on our projects that we got going on now, so we'll be reporting. So I think we move into the regular meeting, and with audience participation, between the documents you got a kind of general, in the budget workshops with me, you kind of got a general idea where we're headed again, so. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, the council has no objections. We'll close the public hearing. And now we'll have a request for agenda changes. As the city manager said, we can go ahead and adopt the resolution tonight, or we can postpone it and do it at our next council meeting. I personally have no problem in doing it tonight, but I'm not sure what the majority of council wants to. Would you like to add it to the agenda tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Then why don't we make it, I guess, new business number 2. Be the budget resolution. Okay, are there any other changes anyone would like to add to the meeting tonight? Okay, there being none, we can now open it up to audience participation. Madam Clerk, you'll handle that, please.
For audience participation, we do have persons attending in person, and then we have the option also for electronic for virtual means. Again, that reminder, if you are attending virtual, electronic means, you can press star 9 on your telephone keypad, and that will signal the raise hand feature for us. And then for those, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address. And then for those in person that wish to speak, please approach the podium and state your name and address. The mayor will call on you when yep, you're ready. There is no electronic virtual means, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead if you
I
want to
guess
say
I met.
name and address.
Suzanne Monfett, I live at 452 Linden Court, and if I could just give each of you a copy of what I will be addressing so it will make more sense to you.
Sure, I'm a visual learner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Willow Ridge subdivision that our entrance is off of Decker. And as you can see from the first page, we have been in contact over the past years with Oakland County Road Commission regarding resurfacing of our roads. And you'll see on the second page, the highlighted area, Oakland County will not touch that area because it's in the city of Walled Lake. From the middle of Decker Road, 200 feet into our subdivision is city property. So Oakland County will not resurface that because they cannot assess any of those homeowners since those homeowners pay City of Walled Lake taxes. So in 2016, you'll see the first letter that I generated to Colleen Coogan. That's who I was directed to give her the information that we would like to coordinate between our subdivision and the city to get the First Street and the entranceway resurfaced at any time in the future, that the city was going to be doing that. And she said that she would keep me informed of any resurfacing that was going to take place. At that time, there wasn't anything on schedule. And then in 2019, I saw in the spinal column that the grant had been earned to do .9 of Decker Road. So I then contacted who I thought was Colleen, but apparently then it was Sandra Barless had taken over her position. And Sandra, in fact, sent out some of her crew to guesstimate how much it would cost to redo the entrance because she had some remaining funds apparently. But then she got back with me and said that there wasn't enough and that she would keep us informed when 2022 came regarding the resurfacing of Decker when the grant. She said at that point that you were number 2 on the list. You could have been moved up or pushed back if need be. And then, of course, we had last year the wonderful project on 14 Mile with the Water Authority, whatever was going on there, which was supposed to be done in October and, of course, wasn't finished. So this year, I didn't pursue finding out more about Decker because I figured, well, nothing's going to happen while 14 is still tore up. But then, of course, I saw them starting to work on Decker. So I called over here and found out that Sandra Barless was no longer here, but that Dennis Witt had taken over those duties. And I left a message for him to call me. I never heard back from him. So then I brought over the enclosed letter that you see there, wanting to see if there was any way possible that while the equipment is still here, working on the road, if there was a way to include our entrance, because the scope is now, I talked to the inspector that was there, and there is the way that it ends right at the beginning of our subdivision, they're not coming in to do the entrance. So, as a point of record, I would just like to see if there was any way possible to perhaps include the entrance. Whether or not you would be able to do the street at this time, but at least to possibly do the entrance for our subdivision would be greatly appreciated.
Awesome.
Does the city have any update or knowledge on this or comments?
Well, what is the role? Are you the homeowner association president, or are you?
I'm the vice president of our association.
Okay. I'm Dennis Witt, the guy you just talked about.
Okay. Well, hi, Dennis.
Sandra Bartlett. Sandra worked for me. I'm not aware of those conversations you had with Sandra.
Okay.
Sandra moved on to bigger and better things. She's doing great. We can take a look at what you're talking about. I didn't expect to announce it today, but I will now. It looks like we're going to have Decker paved beginning Monday.
Okay.
Okay, it's not likely we're going to be able to factor in improvement to where you're talking about during that pavement, but we will sit down with the team if you're willing to contribute something. I'm not sure whether, under any standard of review, you would merit something higher than other roads that, we have limited funds. But if there's a contribution, it's kind of, if your association's willing to partner up with us, maybe we can do something. Is that a possibility?
Well, I'm sure that's a discussion that we could take, but our understanding from Mark Metzler from Oakland County Road Commission is that because the city of Walled Lake collects funds for roads from their citizens, that it should be taken care of by the city, or is that not correct?
We have a lot of roads that take care of, and there's a lot of roads that have a higher priority, with no disrespect to your subdivision, but every subdivision here wants new pavement, and we couldn't possibly do that. So if we rated your road, I'm not sure how it's rated, we have a system that they've used here and other places. So I'm not sure where that fits without checking, but I'm more than willing to get with you next week. I don't need any other team. I'm in charge of the team, so we will get with you and see if your association is willing to commit some resources, and we can maybe find some, and maybe we can do that part you're talking about. Just like when we got Decker did, the city had to use its funding to contribute to that fund to get Decker done. So if your association is willing to partner up with us, maybe we can find some money and fix some of the stuff that you're talking about. I don't know that it's on the list. I don't believe it is.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I'll check, and I'll meet with my superintendent tomorrow morning, and we'll see what we can do and get back with you.
Okay, and then, yes, if we can agree on a date, and then I can get our treasurer and every other board members together would be great.
Well, I don't know how you need to get together, but it's all about money, same with us. I don't have to, they work for me, so they'll be meeting with me, and I'll find out what we got. The superintendent's standing right behind you. I'm not going to put him on the spot right now and ask him what to do. I'm sure you wouldn't want me to do that to you, but so you go find some money, we'll find some money, and if we can fix it, we can do something for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll
Thank
be in
you.
touch.
Thank you. Okay, I think we don't have anyone else at the public in the audience, and there's no one online that has raised their hand? No? Okay, then we will go on to approval of the regular council meeting of October 19th, 2022. Do I have a motion, please?
April 19th.
Or April. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
you make that motion. Okay, is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay. Any questions or discussions on the minutes? Okay, roll call, please.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carried. We'll now move on to council report. That being any reports that a council member has of a board or a commission that they're a liaison or member of the board. Does anyone have any
Madam Mayor?
reports at this time? Yes,
I would like to report on the Parks and Rec.
thank you.
Had a great meeting. We talked about the Memorial Day Parade, which has a new location. I'm sure we'll talk about that again tonight. And then the great work that we're doing, the DPW is doing at Riley Park. The play structure is finished, and the rubber was being put down, so I think we're ready to go. How exciting. So Riley Park is ready to go and ready to accept kids playing. So we had a great meeting, very exciting things going on. And we also talked about summer concerts going on. So we look for those coming up. It's all on the website, the great bands that we're having coming out to entertain us for the summer.
We're going to give a follow-up on that a little later. I'm going to have the team report on that, but she's right, we're up and running at Riley Park.
Okay.
So exciting.
Is that all you have?
Oh, and the farmer's market. Thank you.
Just gonna
Every
be-
Wednesday, 7 a.m.
Okay. Any other council member? Yes, Mr. Murphy?
From the planning commission, we ended up approving a site plan for a project at 900 Ladd Road. This is for a grow center. It's in industrial, and we approved that. We also approved the amendments to the zoning ordinance that was presented, and we had the public hearing on that, and we passed it on to the council for the final approval.
Okay.
I'll give the library report. We meet on the third Friday, which would be this week, so this is not current, but going back to last month, running smoothly. The library the circulation is up, and participation, people coming into the library has been improving. So, and they're getting ready for the summer reading programs, and they're partnering up at the farmer's market, and all of the events, the programs are well attended.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Next on the agenda is city manager's report.
Mayor, members of council, please move to receive and file the departmental and divisional statistical reports, and I have more to follow after that.
Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, the second item on the agenda is I have requested, or I was requesting, a closed session, otherwise known as an executive session, to brief the council on labor negotiations. I've decided that not to go into closed session. I'll just keep it light enough to where we can say publicly what I really wanted to point out to this city council and this mayor, as we are in negotiations with the police union. Seems to be going smoothly. We've had a couple of meetings. My team, negotiating team, is headed by Chief Paul Shekenis. My team member is the HR administrator, Miranda Gross, her first effort at labor negotiation, and my assistant, Jakeway. That's the team that will be negotiating the contract, a full contract for the city of Wall Lake and the police union. As you know, many years in the past, a long time ago, used to pay a high-priced labor attorney to do all of those. Now we have a team in-house who can and is doing that. We've been doing it, and the team members have changed. We've had some great members before, as you know, Colleen Coogan, CPA, our finance director, she was a big member too, but now the newer group, we're passing the torch. So 3 team members will be bringing me what they finally negotiate, and if it gets sticky, we'll do that closed session. I don't think it does. I think it's going to go well, but you never know when those things can get sticky. And if it does, we'll call another meeting or wait for the next meeting and bring it back. So I'm thinking they're going to bring me a final document very shortly. And when they do, then we'll bring it to City Council for their approval. So I don't need a closed session to tell you that, but I got a great team and it's looking good. Now, what I'd like to do is have an update on the stuff that everybody's already heard if you went to the DDA meeting and you went to the planning meeting, but most people who watch the council meetings haven't heard it. So I would guess we can start with Ms. Jakeway on the farmers market. Everybody is really interested in that. It's turning into something very special for us here. So Ms. Jakeway, would you give us an update on the farmers market?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. As you all know, the City of Walled Lake hosts a farmers market every Wednesday from 7 to 1. The market opened earlier this month, and we're going on to our third week tomorrow. It's been a good turnout so far with a lot of interested and new vendors. We're looking forward to a really great season, welcoming trail users to our site once the bridge access is opened, but also the improvements that have been happening at our public safety campus with council support and DPW support. We've been able to level off the walking site in the surface area in response to some of the concerns of the walkability with the big rocks that were there in past seasons. So the improvements have definitely enhanced the experience for not only our vendors, but also the folks that come and visit our market. So I'm pleased to report that it's been a strong opening so far, and I'm looking forward to a really great season with events and welcoming new vendors.
Thank you.
Thank you. The farmers market has become very popular, but there are some folks who would question, or they ask questions about why we have it on Wednesday. And I think the history of that is because everybody else has a farmer's market every other day of the week. And I guess Wednesdays was available when they first decided to do that years ago. But we have had, concerns. One concern was, why do you have it at those hours? People have to work. And so do the people at the farmers market. They're working. So we can't make everybody happy. There's always somebody that thinks the farmers market in here should be on Saturday or Sunday because they are in other places. But I think they picked Wednesday many years ago. Mayor, you've been around a couple of years, so how long has it been on Wednesday? It's always Wednesday.
And I think when we started the farmers market, there were a lot of markets on Saturday and some on Sundays, and the people were committed elsewhere. Unless things have changed, my understanding was, at least I've been to Wixom, I think that was on Thursday.
Yeah.
I think Milford is on Thursday. So we're not the only community that was kind of stuck in the fact that the vendors were already committed and couldn't be two places on one day. So it was picked as Wednesday morning because the other communities were having them in the afternoon.
Well, you just made the point I wanted you to make, and that is it was picked because of the competition, so everybody gets a day. But there is that issue that still comes up, and I don't think anybody's ever said it out loud. That's how it happened. One thing that is coming up, and Ms. Jakeway has advised me that she's going to be surveying the vendors, see what's good for them, to maybe adjust the hours, because what they're finding is there's nobody's coming at 7. It's usually 8 or later. So there may be an adjustment there after her survey of the vendors and seeing when they set up and what's good for them. But we have to keep the vendors happy so they come back. In other words, they have to be able to move their product, whatever they're selling. I think we're headed towards vegetables pretty soon. Right now it's different things, honey and that kind of thing. But
There are plants.
it's still very popular.
There are plants there.
She also attended some of the other farmers markets. I think you were at, was it Farmington Hills on Saturday to see what they're doing. So we're trying to do what we can, and we believe it's going to get better after we open up the public safety campus for all the things that we got planned there in the future. It's going to get that much better. So,
How many vendors have we so far?
It's been a consistent 12 so far, but I anticipate that to increase to anywhere between 15 to 20 once the season kicks up and folks, once the kiddos are out of school, I do anticipate an increase in vendors. But since it's still early in the season, it's been a steady 12 so far.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
The next up, I would like Ms. Rose to give us a quick update on where we are with our Memorial Day Parade. She's essentially our recreation coordinator, among all the other hats that she wears, and she's been being a good job with the rec department, as Ms. Councilmember Fernandez pointed out. So give us the latest update there.
Yes, so I know we discussed that the parade route has changed. You might have seen the yard signs out. We do have approximately 30 of those yard signs out so that we can make people aware of the route change. We did stop taking applications last week so that we could finalize the map, and we do have that finalized. And I sent out an email yesterday to all the applicants, notifying them where their spots are, and I did get a few responses from them. I haven't sent it to council yet. You guys do have a spot, and I will send that out this week, so you can look at the map and kind of identify where you're going to be at. Also, we did confirm the Grand Marshal will be Marielle Liu, so she confirmed with us she will be there. And we do have banners being made still. They should be done by Friday. We'll have hopefully 2 of those out over the welcome signs, and then one bigger one over by the Orchard Grove Church. There's poles over there that we're going to get a banner put up there as well. And I think that's pretty much it. We do have over 40 applicants, and that's not including all the local and fire and police that will be there.
I'll add to that one as well, Mayor. I talked to Marielle Liu today. She's very excited to be our Grand Marshal. I did not pick her because she was the #1 anchor for Fox News Detroit. She's a Wall Lake resident, and she's proud of Wall Lake, and she's looking forward to being the Grand Marshal. I think we can expect to get some pretty good coverage from Fox 2 Detroit. And if I were a city council member or the mayor, I would be ready to be on camera. I'm expecting that they will be interviewing everybody and anybody, because we're back with our Memorial Day Parade. So we believe it's going to be good. Staging area is good. Chief, you got anything to add about setup and staging areas and all that?
Because of the different route, we're working, as a matter of fact, prior to the meeting, we're sitting down and working with the new map, the layout, to make sure that we'll be able to close off the streets. Chief Coomer and I are working to put an honor guard detail together. We believe we'll have something pretty decent to help assist the VFW to put together a decent show. And then as soon as we get done with the layout, we'll get with Superintendent Ladd to make sure that DPW, barricades and all that, so it's safely blocked off. So it's moving along quite well.
We'll be having a meeting tomorrow on the operational aspect of the parade. We're going to, once we do that, we're going to get with each one of you and find out where you're going to be. You want to walk, you want to provide some entertainment for the kids and that kind of thing, whatever you've done in the past. But tomorrow we'll know for sure more about the operational aspect and the staging of it. Again, we're coming up Maple from the school area down there, which is from Ladd Road up. So, but you need to be ready as council members to decide where you're going to be. You're going to ride, you're going to walk. It's a long walk. The riding is pretty good too. So I think Mr. Woods up there, I'm going to take you up on the use of your vehicle, if that's still offered.
All good.
Well, it's a brand-new vehicle, is it not? I think we might put that Fox News anchor in that brand-new vehicle, so, or the mayor, one of the two, or both.
It's got 5 seats.
So that's where we are. We'll have a meeting tomorrow, and we're going to get back with you, and we'll spend a lot of time. But if we get the budget out of the way, then my next focus immediately is the parade, and our focus will be to honor the fallen, the heroes of the real world. They give us our freedom. They give us our vote. They give us our enjoyment of life, and we should recognize them. So, I expect the mayor will speak. I expect that the Fox News anchor will have a few words, and anybody else who thinks they should say something, we'll find a space for them there. So let me know, let us know. We'll do it through Ms. Jakeway over there, and if you want to be in the ceremony, we'll have that up front. I expect that's part of the discussion tomorrow. There'll be a small honor guard and that kind of thing. So we'll let you know this coming week. Okay, next up, I want to report on some of our projects downtown, and it probably involves all of them. But Mr. Never afraid to give up and tell us how good you're doing over in Public Works. So tell us about the beach project first. Not the fact that everybody went to the beach on Sunday and walked through the construction, the cones, the ribbons, the bulldozers, the backhoes, to get to the beach on Sunday. I was here Sunday, and there were more people on the beach than I'd ever seen. It's the most, I don't know what part of, this is a construction site they didn't see, but they went to the beach. And a whole lot of those folks are not from Wall Lake. They're, give us an update on the beach.
Okay, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Phase 1 of Mercer Beach project, they've got all the underground in. They've started grading out and compacting all the stone, getting ready for a curb and gutter. They're hopefully going to start that by the end of the week, if not early next week. And that'll have to cure for 7 days, and then they can pave the lot. And then that way phase 1 will be completed. Phase 2 went out for bid yesterday, and we sent the bid out to 22 different contractors, so we hope we get a good response. And we're waiting for that, and they have 3 weeks to submit their bid. Once that gets started, that should move pretty quick. It's not a really large job. It's mainly just concrete work, sidewalk work, light poles, stuff like that. So it's moving along. I'd like to see it go a little quicker, but it's moving along, and it's looking good. Any questions?
That's about it. I think we probably need to have some signs, again, even if they disappear, the beach is closed.
We put out several today, this morning.
Make sure you have a handful, but they have a tendency to disappear.
They got sticky fingers over there in that strip
They
of town.
disappear.
They grab everything.
The people who want to go to the beach simply take the signs down. But our duty is to keep informing them, so put some more signs up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. No, you're not done yet. You got to give us an update on Decker Road. I think I already give them a little snippet of that, but give them I think most everybody here, I think Councilmember Woods gave me an update. He got a look at the curb gutters. I think of everybody here taking a trip down, you know.
So the project's moving along really well. Springline Excavating, they're the company that is doing all the underground storm management replacements. They've got all of those installed. They did all the grading for all the curbs that are going in. They had a job that they couldn't get in and do any work, so they had an extra crew, so they put 2 crews on it last week, and they really got a lot of work done in a very short amount of time. They got all the curb and gutter in, all the driveway approaches. They have to do them one half at a time so people can access their driveways and the roads. So just this morning, we found out that all the concrete passed the break points. It's 3,500 PSI is what has to pass. So that passed. So now they can go ahead and do the other sides of the drives, which just really upped the schedule a lot. And I did get an update from Cadillac Asphalt that they're going to go in and start paving Monday. So what they'll do is put down the first 2-inch layer, and then they'll come back in and adjust all the manholes for the sanitary and the storm and water manholes. And then once that's done, then they'll go ahead and do the top coat, 2 inches. So it's Cadillac's goal is to be off of Decker Road by the end of June, or by June. So.
Quick question, while Cadillac is in there, are we going to shut down Decker, or is it still going to be open?
It will still be open.
It's my understanding that people just will not stay away from there. It's,
You know, it's like the beach, right? You can put out as many signs as you want, they're still going to go where they want to go. We're doing our best, trying to keep people out of there. The construction crews have, been challenged with it, residents have been challenged with it. A lot of it is pass-through traffic. They're trying to stop people as they enter, ask them if they live in the area. If they say no, they make them turn around, but everybody lives in the area, right?
third house down.
They're all going to the church.
Yeah, going to
And
the
they go
church.
by. I'm praying for them.
Dan, can you give us what insights you have, even though I know 14 Mile Road is not the city's baby, it's not our work, but because of the residents that on the corner that are really affected by it, the mayor gets a lot of emails regarding 14, and I've been kind of shuffling here trying to give him some answers. And
Yes, absolutely. We've been trying to work with Great Lakes Water Authority and Major Cement, who's doing the project, trying to get Lake Village entrance on 14 Mile open. That was finally successfully completed yesterday afternoon, so they can enter and exit Lake Village 14 Mile both directions, in and out.
Huge.
Which really alleviated a lot of traffic on Decker Road, because they'd much rather just go out on 14, it's paved. So that's going to help out everything on Decker Road a lot as well. They have to finish the pit right by Lake Village. They're working on that now. It should be done, they said by June 30th, they should have everything done, restoration, paving, everything.
From
But-
M5 all the way to the lake?
Correct.
Or are they going Haggerty all the way to the lake?
M5 is their limits.
But it is, 14 is still closed. You can't get through on 14 past,
That's correct.
Okay.
It's open to Lake Village.
the signage is kind of confusing. I know when I went through this morning, I was wondering, well, can you get through or can't you? And it said end of 14-mile detour, and you couldn't see anything that said it was closed, and I had a little extra time, so I thought, well, I'll drive down a little ways. Well, I didn't get very far. But I got far enough, I couldn't see it from the road. So I can understand why people are confused that whether it's really closed or if it's actually open now or what's going on with it.
From the
so.
lake, from the Walled Lake side.
From the Walled Lake side, there at Driftwood.
Yeah, you can't see the closed.
Yeah, you
You
don't
can't-
know, you go all the way up the hill and then you're.
Yeah, you get to the top of the
around.
hill and there's a
Then
big
it's
piece of
there.
equipment, and then you got a little bitty driveway to try and turn around a truck in, and, but anyway,
Hopefully it will be open in a couple of weeks.
okay.
Very exciting.
That's great.
That'll make people happy,
Yes.
I hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
They'll find something else to complain about.
Don't sit down, Dan.
Okay.
All right, patience is the operative word here. The best solution to all these issues, concerns, and complaints is patience. Get the work done and get them out of town. We've done surveys to respond to some of the questions raised, and our surveys do not find that it's as bad as people perceive. The people speeding are oftentimes residents. People speeding on Decker, as an example, live on Decker. If we start writing tickets like has been suggested, and I do not believe that's the solution, if we start writing tickets for not doing a good job of being patient, then we're going to be writing tickets to our residents. So patience from our side, patience from the residents' side, and get the contractors out of the city, complete with the work, then we're going to do better. So a few more weeks of patience would work. Having said that, let's move on to Pontiac Trail. Give the council an update.
Okay, Pontiac Trail, they've rehabbed pretty much most of the storm drains and sanitary manholes and gate wells in Pontiac Trail in the drive lanes that need to be fixed before they mill the edges of the curbs and repave. After they are done, then they'll come back and adjust them to the right elevation and patch around them. It's a little different process than Decker Road, but I don't have, since we've changed the parade route, and I've been pretty busy, I haven't really bothered them a whole lot to find out what their dates are exactly, because we changed the parade route, so it's not as, it's important, but not quite as important to get it done by Memorial Day, so.
Any other questions on Pontiac Trail? We're looking for that to happen quickly, too. When that finally hits, it's going to go fast.
How far is it going to go down? I'm sorry.
It's going to go from West Maple to the west side of Wixom,
So to Beck Road or,
past Beck Road, west side of Wixom, downtown.
okay.
Are they paving this in first?
$1 million question.
And what are they doing at the corner of Wall Lake Drive and Pontiac Trail?
Oh, with the
Yeah,
cones
that-
still?
The cone, I'm going to
With the
remove
hole
those
that I have to
tomorrow.
try to avoid, the cones, the hole, and,
I believe they've repaired the hole, so they were just waiting for the concrete to set up. They repaired it last week, so it takes about 7 days to set up, so
okay.
we'll get them
It's
removed.
kind of hard to share that with a pickup and one of these big dump trucks, and you're trying to get through there, and it's like, whoa.
I cut through the parking lot.
I've done that.
Yes.
We're not saying that.
You can sit down
We're not
now.
going to say
I'm not
that.
admitted to that one.
Mr. Superintendent, I got one more thing from the police department. Late this week, I found out from the chief that we've identified a couple of vehicles that were available that weren't available. I think council remembers we approved vehicles, and they got canceled. And so the chief has found two. Chief, we didn't amend the agenda here to put that on, so I'm going to let you try to convince council it's a good idea to do what you want. He did find 2 vehicles, 2 Chargers. We had moved past the Chargers because we were told they weren't going to make them, weren't available anymore. Well, it turns out that some of them were unsold, that somebody didn't pick up, so they're on a lot. We can still get them, even though they canceled the SUVs. We can get back in the business for another year, which actually works for us. It still works for us. So I'm going to let the chief brief you on that and see if the votes are there to go ahead. I believe Mr. Schrader pointed out we got money budgeted, but if the money's there, we're good. If it's not, it's coming out of wherever we need to come. So give them a briefing on what you got for us, chief.
Good evening. Thank you, sir. I think we all know that the car market after the post-pandemic has been brutal, savage. I've heard a lot of words put to it. Fleet vehicles are not money makers for the big three, so we were pushed back. Council did approve 2 new Durango, which is the newer vehicle, the SUV. They were canceled in February with no notice. We got a call from the dealership. They said your vehicles are not going to be not going into production. Sorry, we'll let you know if it comes around. That's all we got. That was after several months of sitting and waiting. So we went back to them to ask, okay, so when are you going to, be taking orders for new vehicles this coming year? Try to get ahead of the game. And LaFontaine, which their fleet manager is out of Lansing, says, well, I happen to have 2 of them sitting on the lot right now, available for sale. So we do have all the parts, so we would be replacing Chargers with Chargers. So the upfit fee is greatly reduced. We're not buying new vehicle or new equipment for the new vehicles, which we'll eventually be forced to do. But in this case, we wouldn't. So the cost of, unfortunately, like everything else, went up quite a bit. But we don't believe we're in a position to do anything other than ask council's approval for these vehicles. One of the 2016 Chargers went in last Wednesday for brakes and front-end work and came back after 5 days with $1,250 worth of labor and parts. So they're getting expensive to fix and a lot of downtime. So, Madam Clerk, do we have a resolution if council's willing?
Yes, Ms. Jackways does.
Okay. So we do have a resolution before you. And I'll let her hand that out before we talk any further.
Thank you.
Chief, these are 2022s?
They are. They are.
We'll be placing it on the screen as well. Just a moment.
Yep, so they are black, V6 all-wheel drive. A little different than what we've purchased in the past, but at this point, I think we'll take what we can get if council says so. So we'd be replacing 2 2015 Dodge Chargers. I know the mileage is doesn't look the same. We think 65 and 58,000 miles, but these are all local miles and they're hard miles. So they get expensive about the 3 to 5 year mark. So we usually push them into auxiliary, whether it's a support vehicle for the fire department or a code enforcement vehicle, an extra car for court and training, that type of thing. So we look to replace them. So we'd be asking for a sole source bidder of LaFontaine Dodge, which we have a LaFontaine in town. We would work with them. And a sole source bidder of Canfield Equipment. Spoke with Canfield today. They said that General Motors will be accepting bids for their vehicles next Monday for 24 hours. If you don't get your bid in 24 hours, good luck getting a General Motors product as far as a fleet vehicle. So that's the market we're dealing with. So the price per vehicle is $33,973, and then we'd be looking for $8,000 for Canfield Equipment, and that would be for the removal of the old vehicles and for the installation of the new vehicles.
I take it you're not adding the 300 for the LED bulbs?
No, we can survive without them.
Just making sure.
We can survive without them.
So is the 8,000 per car or total?
Total, $4,000 per vehicle.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm sorry, I guess that does make.
That's okay.
Per car, yeah, per car.
And also, this is being funded through our drug forfeiture program?
Yes, yep, that is the intention.
Okay, do we have a motion to
I'll make that motion.
accept the
Second.
resolution?
Second.
Work.
Sorry.
It works for me. Works for the chief, too.
That's exciting that you were able to find something.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Did somebody make the motion?
Oh, I did.
and I
Okay.
seconded.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion on it, other than the chief's happy? Okay.
Did you find those at the LaFontaine dealership in Walled Lake?
They're up in Lansing right now, but
okay.
we believe we can get them transferred out here.
Easy.
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 Roll
I can
call,
drive one
please.
home.
Excuse me, sorry. Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Very appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks for your hard work finding them. That's good.
We're not getting the SUVs, though. That's,
That's okay.
We can move.
We got a couple right now.
No, thank you, Mayor and Council. I think that goes a long way to helping our maintenance budget as well. That whole concept has worked very well for us. We're not spending a lot of money on maintenance of cars, so it does work out moving them. It's a program that's worked for several years now. So you just helped us stay in line with that. It was kind of iffy what we were going to do, so thank you very much. I'm complete now. If the council wants to approve the budget tonight, I'd be tickled about that. I'll be as
That's down
happy as
the
the
road.
chief, be as happy as the chief is.
We'll make you happy later, maybe.
All right.
Correspondence?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Attorney report not here. There's no unfinished business. Next item is new business. Number 1, could I have a motion, please, on the proposed resolution 2022-18 for the water and sewage usage rates and
To
capital
19?
needs?
It's 19, you changed it, because we approved the cars. This goes to 19.
I agree.
I would agree too.
Okay, that's fine.
Good catch.
I will make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the budget resolution to adopt the operating and capital budget, which will be 2022-20. Do I
Lublin,
have-
I'll make the resolution adopting the operating and capital budget appropriation of funds and levy of taxes for fiscal year July 1, 2022.
You making
to-
the resolution or the motion?
The resolution, proposed, making the resolution. Did I say
You're making the
motion?
motion. No, you said you're making the resolution.
Oh, that's true. I'm making
The motion.
the motion to accept or to approve the resolution adopting the operating and capital budget.
There we go. Now
Funds
we
and
got
levy
you
of
on the right
taxes
track.
for fiscal year July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. That being proposed resolution 2022-20.
Got it.
Support?
Osnick will second.
Woods will second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We move on to all the other things we got going, so you saved me a month's work. I can get
Certainly.
busy on the operational stuff. Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, we're going to council reports. We'll start out with Tamara, please.
Council comments, I was like, I don't have a report. No, I know I say this every month, but I personally appreciate each and every one of you. Because of all of your hard work, we've been able to accomplish so much and not raise the taxes for our residents, which is huge. And I'm so happy with the way the Decker Road is coming along. Unfortunately, the residents who have been really asking about it so much, they have not packed their patience. The patience is going to be key this summer. They need to slow down and just appreciate all the work that everyone is doing with the beach. I know it's going to be hot, but we still have to give you room to get things done, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Osnick.
And I am looking forward to the Memorial Day Parade. This is a very fitting day to honor the fallen as well as the serving veterans and the past veterans of the United States. That's all I have.
Thank you. Indy?
I just want to say thank you to Chief Shekinnis. Gave him a call this weekend. Somebody, a bunch of people called me about Decker Road, and I was like, well, I'm going to just go out and watch and see what's happening, talk to the construction people. They said what was going on, called the chief, and he responded immediately, just with a presence. And I think that just having that vehicle out there, just letting the neighbors know that we're aware, really has made a difference and helped them kind of see that their patience is coming, because they're seeing that we understand and there's an end coming to this, and it's going to be amazing. Along with the sidewalks that we did with the DPW, it's going to be a great place very shortly. So I just want to say thank you for really stepping up and helping out with that. And just wanted to say thank you so much for this budget. The debt payoff, not having to raise taxes. I lived in the city for 20 years, and we've seen some major debt. And to see that we've been able to pay that down, I'm very excited, and very excited to see what we can do in the future. So thank you.
Casey?
Well, as we get more into the warmer weather, thankfully, it really shows what our city is all about. The lake, the community, everybody really coming together. And I mean, the city of Walled Lake does it perfectly every year, from our Memorial Day parade to the farmers market. It's just a hoot to be a part of this community, and I really do believe that other cities are really starting to take notice of what we're doing around here, not only from our administration and what you guys do in your dedicated hours, but how the city is starting to look. I've lived here my entire life, all 21 years, and I cannot say how great this city has come to look. Every day I love to wake up and drive around and just see all the work that every single one of us, you guys, are putting in, and it really does pay off, and I can't say thank you enough. That's all I got.
Thank you. And I won't forget you tonight.
Yeah, don't forget Mr. Woods.
No, we're not going to talk to him. We'll talk to him if he wants to talk to us. Mr. Woods?
100% agree with what's already been said. I get probably every other day report from my 8-year-old on the construction for the Riley Park playground and for co-students that are on the bus from Walled Lake Elementary that drive by. So they are ecstatic, and I think most of us will have the same feeling as soon as Decker's done. It's nice to see how fast that's moving. Like you said, a little bit of patience, but we'll all be excited when all this work gets completed.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Lubin.
Everyone has said really, most of all, the projects are amazing and wonderful, and they are close to being completed, and we're all excited for that. And my hat's off to our team, and the weather's been super. So let's keep that going. Good work.
Okay. Mayor's report. First item on the agenda is the resignation from the DDDA and the Library Board of Mr. Robert Schuman. So I would ask at this time that we receive and file his resignation, and whether you want to do it in the same motion or a separate motion, send a letter of appreciation and gratitude to Mr. Schuman for his years of service to the city, both as a city board member and a businessman in the community.
Most likely will make that motion.
Okay.
And just as a note, when I moved in here, Bob Schuman and his dad had their business right down around the lake, right where the bar,
Tiki bar,
no, not across from the Tiki Bar. Yeah, but where the Segway place is, that used to be the gas station. And that was, yeah, and he was right next door to the gas station.
He built the building.
So that was his dad. His dad passed. Bob took it over, and kept it going. It has been a pillar of this community for many, many years, more than 50 between him and his dad. So I would recommend that we send some kind of letter of recognition.
You want that all in your motion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of that.
Okay, is there support to that motion?
You have to support that.
We all support
I'll
that.
support it, yes.
Any additional comments?
Mayor, the DDA instructed staff to draft a letter to Mr. Schuman. I would suggest that the council make a motion to draft a letter for the mayor's signature thanking.
I think that was part of his motion.
There was indeed.
Someplace in the very beginning.
It was pretty busy, his motion, so I kind of missed it.
You got excited.
The point being, he will get a letter from Ms. Jakeway's drafting those now from the DDA, and that will be signed by the new chairman of the DDA, and one from the mayor should do, recognize. Bob Schuman is one of the early guys that I met who got it. He understood that there need to be changes here, and that was 12 years ago, and I've been impressed with Bob Schuman ever since. So we've lost a good participant, but somebody else is enjoying his company right now. So, thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Jakeway, you have 2 letters to finish now.
So now I ask that you would make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-21, which is the mayor's nomination and appointment of Matthew McDonald to the DDA.
Lublin will make the motion to appoint Matthew McDonald to the Downtown Development Authority.
Support.
Any comments, questions? Are you going to tell us how you remember when the building, used to fix televisions and
No.
the one that he's in?
That was
Mayor, you know all those.
No, that was the other guy.
No, that was his side, sir.
Okay.
The other side had the fish for sale. Anyways, roll call.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess if I say anything tonight, it would be repeating what everyone has said about the changes that have come about in Wall Lake and the great job that our staff does. And patience is something we need, but we all know when people are not happy or they're impatient, they don't start at the top and complain and work their way down. They start in their local community because they know the chief, they know the DPW director, they know the clerk, or they know the mayor, or whatever, and they can call them up and complain. So it's something that I think we deal with more on a local level, but people need to have patience, because if you travel this state, you'll dream about orange barrels. I mean, they are every place. So it's just, part of life. But I think we have an announcement tonight. We do have a recent graduate in our midst, I understand, a couple weeks ago. Our new council member, Mr. Casey Ambrose, is now officially through college.
I am.
And congratulations
Thank
to
you
you,
so much.
sir.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Mom gets me full-time again. She's very excited.
She's very happy.
Back home.
Well, we're glad to have you back home. And I wish I could remember back to when I was 21 and the changes that had taken place in those first 21 years. Ooh, that was a long time ago. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Adjourn.
Okay.
Support.
Good night, folks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.